your job as a leader is just to enforce core values. That's your responsibility. So if your core values do not represent you, and that should be your core value. And that's what you pass to the rest of the organization to say, so for example, let me give you an example. And this is why I'm trying to tell you that, have you ever seen an organization? There are organizations which are bubbly. The organization just looks bubbly. Everybody just looks excited. They're jumpy and stuff like that. It's not by mistake. It's not because just of the kind of employees they have there. No. If you see that it's a whole organization-wide behavior, just know that somebody has been taking time. Others could have stumbled there by mistake. But I want to tell you, somebody took time to address that. Have you seen the organization that come out very corporate? Everybody is just very corporate and very serious and very... Others usually, big organizations, they have designed that. Because for them, they feel that their clients must see them from that angle. And that's what you must take note of. So when I'm coming here to SWOT analysis, I just want to present to us, because I want us to build a document that is going to have these things. And that's our assignment as we leave this place concerning strategic planning. I want you to go and put down your vision in the way I asked for. I want you to put down your mission in an actionable, providing, repairing, creating, training, words like those ones, that have an action, a continuous action. I think that is the continuous, what do you call them in verb? Continuous verb, huh? Yeah. A verb that is continuing, like ongoing, which means that, those are the words they're using. Training, booking, all those things. So you do that. Then you put the core values. And I said for the core values, your test. What's your test? How do you want people to behave as they achieve your vision? What are the things how would they do things that will get them to get done? There's no way you can be chilling if you put their core value chilling. If chilling sends a particular message to your clientele, then you put it there. Are you following me? If just relaxing, being relaxed. If you run a resort and stuff like that, and you have that, it could make sense that your people are relaxed and they are very warm. You understand that? So when people come, they find them very subtle. Welcome, thank you very much. Lovely place. Okay, put it there. But in another environment, that won't work well. Yeah. So know what would work for you guys and put that there. So coming down to SWOT analysis then is that we're then saying there are strengths and weaknesses and threats and opportunities that align towards our businesses. So when you look at your organization, what are some things that look like strengths? What is it that you have that that other people don't have, that gives you a plus? It's something that when you can list it in your arsenal as, this makes us more resilient, makes us better. For example, I remember when we were starting our first business, which is into agriculture, the strength I had is that I had grown up farming for almost all my life. You understand? I had grown up farming all my life. So the problem we were about to solve in the business is something I had experienced with my family and everybody in my community. So when I was now validating it as I'm solving it as a problem, is that I already knew how it felt to experience that problem. I have a strength right there. Are you following me? I have a strength. And because somebody else can come from the US and they can come from different countries and they'll come and see and try to solve the problem with us. But because they don't understand the pain we feel, sometimes I have an edge over them. It's not all the time you experience that, but sometimes you do. Another strength could be that also you are one of the first people to start doing such things. Or maybe you have more resources on your table than others that are in your space. Or, yeah.
I think
yeah.
I think if you look back in the, let's say, if you go back, let's say 40 years, there was a big population of what they called expatriates, that supposedly these people had the expertise that would have value here, which wasn't there or present locally at the time. But I think there is a growing recognition that the cultural nuance that local people have within a given market is largely underplayed, and it can actually tip. And I think that talking about this market, I think we should really like tap into that because it's got enormous value.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question that having a lot of resources is, of course, a plus. But that aspect of culture that is present is something that we need to tap in more extensively, because I think it really, really has great value.
Sure. Thank you very much. And that's true. You can have what's called indigenous knowledge, and that will be an advantage. So is somebody with resources. So is somebody with skill, great knowledge about something. They are a PhD holder or whatever it is. They have learned this thing. They have worked, experienced over a long time. All those are strengths. Write them down. And for weaknesses, you have to also take note of internal challenges. What are some challenges that you have as an organization internally that you feel disadvantage you in certain opportunities that may be before you? And obviously, there is now the component of opportunities themselves. And on opportunities, these are external possibilities. These are things that you are saying, look, because of our strengths. Now, this is how I usually look at it. 1 and 3 go together, and 2 and 4 are going together there. So because of strengths that you have, what are opportunities that you think you can easily dive into? Now, let me give an example. So when we were doing on the Agape business, we were doing inputs. And we were doing inputs on the other hand, we realized, look, because we have gained knowledge, we have gained experience, and we have also gained favor, as well as also goodwill from our suppliers who are supplying us in this particular area. We can actually shift and use the same goodwill to get suppliers to give us other forms of products apart from the vegetable seeds and things like that. Let's go into poultry. And it was easier to maneuver into that opportunity because of the strength of a relationship that we had built over time, 7 years, with other suppliers who are big, who we own, we don't have credits and all those things. Getting that record, when we are arriving at this other list of new suppliers, we are saying, look, we are trustworthy, we have worked with people for a long time, and we are faithful. Here is our paperwork, check, here's our reference, that big supplier right there, and what is going on there. That goodwill opens us up into another area, and we're able to enter easily. Why? Because of a strength here. The strength for us was that we had goodwill, we were faithful, and that allowed us to be able to go ahead and unlock opportunities. Well, at the same time, when you have weaknesses, they expose you to some potential threats. For example, when you have a weak fund base, a weak resource base, is that if you don't have enough funds on this side, when there's a shakeup in the economy, easily you can be hit with it. I remember one time when we had actually procured, I think, commodity. We were trying to test our feet on an opportunity around commodity. And then we bought a lot of groundnuts. At the time, groundnuts, that was just 2022. The last elections were in August, right? 2022, am I right? 21? 21, huh? 2021, I think. 2021. So 2021 August was the election. I think just a few months before, maybe 2 or 3 months or so, we had bought groundnuts at 21 kwacha, and we were tipped that it was going all the way because the dollar was rising at that time. Right? It must have been about 24, 25 about it there. So we knew that the price for the groundnuts was going to increase. So we got that. And in no time, as soon as the elections happened in August, and the current government got into power, the kwacha started freely flowing all the way down. And from that point on, that price of groundnuts moved all the way from 22 kwacha all the way to 14 to 11 kwacha. And we had to hold that stuff. Now, when holding the products like that, you have challenges because then you are hoping that something will change, and it took a long time for it to bounce the way it has bounced right now, but it took a long time, and you don't have capital base on the other side. You need cash. So it was in 2022, which was the following year, we experienced a big loss in April. By November, we were running almost dry, about to die as a business. And we looked back and said, we are holding on to something. And it's that stock. I had to sell it at a low price just to be able to recover. Are you seeing that? But what was going on there? Low capital base opens you up to threats of currency. Threats that are different depending on the kind of business you are in. Sometimes some threats could be regulatory policies that are being created that you may not have aware, you may not be aware of. All those could sit in a threat. So you need to take note of that and be aware. So I want to give you some few minutes just to list down a few strengths, maybe two strengths that you are thinking of about your business. Two strengths, two critical strengths, and two opportunities that those strengths can open up for you. Two strengths that your business has, and two opportunities that those strengths can open up for you. What could they do, those two strengths that you have? Two strengths and two opportunities. Two strengths. You done? Two strengths and two opportunities. Mr. Kimaneo? Okay. What is it? Hi, Kimaneo, can you hear?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did you understand the component of the SWOT analysis?
Pardon?
Did you understand the SWOT analysis?
What I heard is you said we have to look into our business. Then we come with two strengths. Then from the strengths we come with opportunities.
Yes, sir. So I'm giving us 3 minutes for that, and then I'll ask us to do the opposite, which is look at your current weaknesses and list down what you think would stand out as a threat against you. Meaning that, for example, if you are not registered as a business or there's a license you have not gotten, could that potentially threaten you to not trade the way you want to trade? You can't grow. If you're not registered in a particular town, does that then stop you from going to expanding? So 3 minutes of strengths and opportunities, and another 3 minutes of weaknesses and threats.
All right, sounds good. Well gotten.
Are we winning? Sure, no problem. What is the strength? So what opportunity are you going to leverage? What? The Africa Trade. So you have capacity to grow. You can produce a lot, is what you're saying.
There's capacity to
That's what the opportunity is. But I'm saying, can you produce, say, for example, 30 tons?
That's a weakness in terms of regulatory and
Financial base, huh? So you may need to capacity to open new markets. No, don't call it capacity. The knowledge. Because it's not capacity. Capacity means you can actually 30 tons. You can actually produce 30 tons. Yeah, so you have the knowledge, the know-how, yeah, on how to do that. Yes. So when you say product development, what do you?
Basically, we're doing traditional food. So we're using
Are you trying to say that you have the ability to create product? Like, but what I would think there also is, have you thought of like, what's your source of raw material?
now we're beginning to have to go into new countries.
So it's like local. Yeah, so that's also a strength. A strength. Yeah, I mean, you have these things next, like around you. So yeah, so it gives you room. You don't have to go out there. So what some of that could give you as a strength is that you can actually sell at a better margin. You understand that? Because these things are just coming from the backyard, you are from someone's backyard. You understand that? So it does not cost you a lot to have it, meaning that if you now process it to a good level where it looks appealing, you can actually make a good margin. So that's an opportunity right there. So even when you're now talking about the free trade, that you can take it to another country at a good price. Yeah. Yeah. Very awesome. Strength. What do you have on strength? Internal what? Positioning. Having a good what? Yeah, it's a strength. It's a strength. Because then it means that you're locked in there when people are struggling to find, items, you guys have access to them. So now that being the case means you can supply other commodities. What? This is what? Okay, I get your point. So you need to put it, say you have access to other forms of, apart from our main product, we also have access to other. That is one then speaks into this opportunity. But you need a strength here that says apart from the cassava, our main product, we also have access to other product types. Yeah. So All right. So on weaknesses, on threats and weaknesses, you have to look at so if you have a financial challenge, you have a financial so not a, like if you have shortage of funds, for example, I'll use the example of Soko Agri. I don't know if you guys, for example, have a challenge with funds, then that's your weakness, right? Like we always have to look for funds. We don't have ready funds to buy commodity. Then you can then say that your threat then is that you would then lose opportunities in the event you would then fail to supply to clients who come in with bulk transactions. Yeah, that don't meet your capital base. That's your threat. And you see, the goodness with this is that if you are very honest with it, it actually even tells you action points and how to react when these things happen. For example, when now someone comes with the bulk transactions, you'll not be shocked. You now know this is a transaction which we can't afford. So you decide now, how do we react to such transactions? Do we go out and look for external financing, which is order financing? Or is this where we usually say we don't do transactions above 1 million? Do you understand? Because we don't want to be found in debt. You understand? So we just simply say, you know what? 1 million and above, we're not interested. So I can supply 5 tons, 10 tons, but I'm not going to go to 30 right now. Or if I'm going to go to 30, I know where I usually have to take a step to go and cover up on my weakness so that I can avoid the threat that because if you can't supply the 30 ton or the 1 million kwacha worth commodity, that client still needs it. They will go and find somebody else who can afford. So what are you going to do in that case? And because that's a threat. They are going to your competitor, right? Yeah. So what are you going to do to deal with this threat? Is obviously then your thought that is going to come after. So let's move on. So once we've done that, you have to also then set what are called strategic objectives that should be specific, measurable, achievable, and time bound. I will come to this when we're talking about KPIs under business system. So the action plan is that you should be able to break goals into actionable steps, assign responsibilities, determine who handles each of those tasks, and then set timelines to establish deadlines for completion, allocate resources. So this is what concludes a strategic plan actually, because once you have set these objectives, so objectives are created based on the mission statement. Are you seeing that? So on the mission statement where you had, where in our example, in the example of, let's say for example, we're saying empowering believers. That's one of the 3 statements that was there, right? And I told you that the mission statement must have a continuous doing word, which is providing. So let's use an example of Morio Foods. We say, let us say, I'll just give you an example. Morio Foods has realized that people actually, they need nutritious food, but also they don't know about the nutritious food. So we need to educate them. We also need to then provide them the food. Are you seeing that? So we're then saying we will be educating. Are you seeing that? Educating people and feeding. I'm just getting something in the booth. Educating people and feeding the nation. You understand that? Feeding the nation with nutritious food. Educating people and feeding the nation with nutritious food. 2 things there. So now, with those 2 things that are sitting on the mission statement, the objectives here now need to sit out and say, what activities are we going to be doing? What's the objectives that we are going to have to achieve educating people? What are the activities? What is the objectives of educating people? What's the objective for feeding the nation with nutritious food? What are the objectives of these 2 things? Once you set the objectives for those 2 things, that's something that is clear, that is measurable, It's quantifiable. Are you seeing that? That is achievable, is realistic, the realistic target. And also at the time frame. Can't say, oh, we'll just be doing this for forever. No. Say, no, by this time we'll get done. So these are the ones which are, they are broken down into 3 parts on the time bound. You have, your short term, mid term, and long term. So your long term could be 3 years, short term 2 years, mid term 1 year. Objectives. So within 1 year, we need to, objective number 1 is that if we're going to educate people, then is that we need to have a nutritionist in our team. Are you seeing that? So create a team. So this is now under educating people. Objective number 1, create a team that is knowledgeable on nutrition. Are you seeing that? So what will be, so that is a short-term issue. Then you say, educate X number of people over the first 3 years. That's another thing inside there. Oh, create you then put, maybe that could be a 1 year issue, but then you say, you then put a bigger one. You say, you want to build a training center for education, for nutrition education, where you come, you find the stove, you find the what, and all those things. We show you how to cook it, we show you how to prepare, how to pack it, we show you how to preserve it, and all those things. Like a small room like this one, which sits out as a dummy house to represent how you take care of nutritious food. People are allowed to visit this place. It can be in town right there. It could be right there at Manda Hill. We have put on one side is our shelves of things we are selling, but on this other side we have a stove, we have a water and the fridge. We show you how it's done. Are you seeing that? So this is something you cannot do in 1 week. You cannot do it in 2 days, but you have to create a timeline to say we'll do it over this period of time. But it's an objective. It's part of our educating people. So if you're going to be looking at organizations, you're saying, look, what kind of products we need to be able to switch and create. Right now, we only have 1 product line. How do we then do, which is cassava? How do we then align maybe 3 that are consistent, like cassava? Then you say, what are we going to do? We need to conduct a market research. Are you seeing that? We need to conduct a market research of what else our clients would want. All those are objectives that you set out. So they need to define, they need to be clear. This is what I'm saying. They need to break those interaction steps. Then once you break them like that, you now assign who is in charge of educating people. Who is responsible for that role in the organization? You are alone, it is you. If you have others, then you start giving them their responsibilities. Or you can even say, like for example, like I said, training people on nutrition. Right? Maybe you have said, that's why you have said that I'm going to set up an office. So, which means the first task is to employ. So that task of employing someone is yours. Once they have been employed, managing the whole training is now theirs. That's how you are moving with the objective. So set timelines, establish deadlines for completion, because you will never finish if you don't put a deadline. Then lastly, allocate. What does this action of hiring a new person look like? It will cost us 3,000 kwacha or 500 kwacha to run the interview and everything. That's when you are doing it. Or when the person has come, we need to allocate a salary of 5,000 to this. Yearly, 5,000 times 12. So this activity of education will need X amount. You have allocated resources. This is how budgets are created. This is where the budget comes from. So because how do you just arrive and say this week, this month we are spending 2,000 kwacha, so we are spending 5,000. It is from this that you drive such kind of things. You now know what you need to do in the year, because the whole entire objects and their tasks and activities for that year, they are telling you what you need to do, when and what, and that costs money. And it's from that the budget is made. So implementation and monitoring, you need to execute, put a strategy to work, and using key metrics that we indicated earlier, and the other one that I'm coming to show us, we will then be able to check clearly, to say, are we winning? Are we headed in the right direction? Because we must have some targets that we have set. Then we evaluate results, compare outcomes to objectives. Then finally, we adjust ourselves, because that is the beauty of a young organization, is that when things are going right, you still adjust yourself. When they're not going right, you adjust yourself again. So if they are going right, you adjust yourself so that you can do better and even more. If you are not going okay, you adjust yourself to control those issues. I remember one time when our business was experiencing a situation where we noticed that clearly the number of people who are making money and the number of everybody was working correctly, though the kind of funds that are being made in the business were not sufficing to cover everybody. So you had to now start looking inside the system there, adjust and say who should stay, who should stay, what activities should we keep on doing, what should we not be doing. And in so doing, we had to let go of a few people and change a few activities. Instead of doing them in the same way we're doing it, we had to get, one person doing a couple of things or three things to be able to cover up on some of those issues. But you have to adjust on the strategy. You have to control. Okay, we were saying we are planning to build that office at the mall where we can do presentations. But well, I think it will not be done the way we thought of it. Maybe let's not have a kitchen in there. Let's just keep the shop because it's doing okay. So you adjust the strategy. So our assignment, please remember, we have done, I think I've given us 5 minutes already, but our assignment, please remember, is that for this class particularly, I would need you to put together the whole entire mini strategy, which is that first of all, your vision, your mission, your core values, your standard of operations, the KPIs for those standard operations, and then also your SWOT analysis, what you have seen, strengths, weaknesses, and all, and then you can also put out some objectives. Then you would have fully satisfied me concerning this part. You have a week. Because we meet again this whole entire week, we don't meet this coming week. We meet the other weekend. So you have enough time to react. We are going to send you some links to a platform called Moodle, the website. Once you have finished doing your typing, typed it out and all, you can then upload it to that platform. We will show you how to do it. Yes. So you are not left alone. We are following through, and we would also want to see, apart from that is why we're asking about accountability, because we would also want to see that international, was this just a chat? Was it just a conversation in here? Or have you started applying the core values at the office? Have you started telling the team what the vision is? And I love the question he asked, because some people come into an organization with their own agenda. And this is something I almost forgot that I would like to conclude with concerning our class here, is that when it comes to people joining our organization, we need to take up the responsibility of aligning them. Slow down. No matter how busy you may be, slow down and present. If we not you, then create someone who you have given the job of presenting the vision, the mission, and the core values, and the SOP, and the standard of operation, and the KPIs. Every team member that joins your company must never escape from having heard this thing. Right?
I mean, obviously, having that conversation is non-negotiable. We should be looking out for, like, we have time to review it. I'm not sure that you can really absorb all that.
What I have learned, funnily, is that you do both. Give them the document, but also either you or someone you have put in charge of this factor must do the complete presentation. And this is what I call your induction. So always there should be no employee that should be joining your company who never went through an induction. Yes. And the rule I have learned is that during induction, no work. And the problem with young companies is that there's too much work in your organization that first of all, you can't stop working, number one. Number two, when someone joins the company, you already have something for them to do. Touch there, go and get that thing, go and get that thing. No, what you're doing there, in a subtle manner, you're sending a message to that employee that what I believe in here does not matter. It is what you do. Are you following me? You are telling them that, look, the reason why we do things here does not matter. What matters here is just getting it done. Now, getting done what? That's your problem right there. Getting done what? He doesn't know why we're doing what we do. So you need to slow down. When they come, you tell them your job starts tomorrow. When they come that tomorrow, if your induction program takes a full day, they must not touch anything in the organization until you are done with induction. You would even rather feel painful that they did not do anything, but tell them tomorrow your work starts. I can assure you the level of results you will get will be very different. Very different. Because the person will not say, for me, I will employ a guy and we need to have people, they've been employed to carry feed from the container. And he's being inducted here. There's no one in the warehouse to carry feed. There's only a lady who's in the shop. And then a client drives in. The client wants 3 bags of feed. This guy is muscular who has just been hired, but he's going through induction. I simply tell the guy, sit right here. I am coming. I go with the lady outside. We carry the 3 bags. Carry the 3 bags in. Bye, sir. Did you see what I was doing there? That's your job starting tomorrow. Not today. Today, I want to tell you why we carry those bags. Are you seeing that? Why do we do that? How do we do it? What are we trying to achieve? Once this guy buys it, this guy will now realize to say, I think what he is saying is more important than the carrying of the bag. And therefore, he will leave this place carrying the bag with purpose. And that is what I want him to know. Because when I'm not there now, how will he carry that bag? The reason why they only work hard when they see you is because you are the only thing that reminds them that they're working. You understand that? Your core values don't exist in their head. So that is what we need to remember. The only reason why they work hard when you are there is because you are their core values. When they see you, they see a core value that has come. When you leave, then it has left. Why am I working? That is why induction is key. Induct them without compromise. I've written one time in my article that one time I worked at PwC. They inducted us for 2 weeks. Yes, 2 weeks. And now I learned there's another organization. One of our colleagues who was part of this program, the one who actually took the blessing of actually delivering us the food. They induct you for about 6 months. Are you hearing that? Because they are producing seed that you are going to plant. So they want it done in a specific way. I remember one of the interesting things about being inducted for 2 weeks was that we were about almost 18 of us who are employed in that cohort. 18 people. Out of the 18 people, we were being employed for auditing. 2 were being employed for IT auditing. The rest 16 were going to be financial auditors. Out of the 16, 1 of them was a mechanical engineer. No background of any financial issues. When we arrived in that induction, everyone is thinking whatever. Me, I'm thinking computers. This one is thinking what? This one is thinking what? After 2 weeks, we could audit anything. After 2 years of those people working in that institution, they can't even remember some of the other things they were taught at school. They are auditors now, financial auditors. So the question you had asked, the confines of the system have been built. Can you show your superpower inside there? Now, my friend's superpower is that he's sharp, he's intelligent, he's quick at thinking, he's good analytics, and all he's got good analysis. Are you seeing that? That is why he's an engineer. But they have changed the framework for him from what he started to now. They have put a core system around him of auditing, and he's channeling all his intelligence now to auditing and not to mechanical engineering, because they framed something around it. And those of us along the way, 1 month, 2 months, 1 year, 2 years, that felt like the system was not working, the vision, the mission, and all those things were not aligning with us. We started leaving to go and find other places where we can actually apply our vision and our mission. Others stayed. But one thing that was clear was that while we were there, we only did what they wanted us to do, not what we wanted, what they wanted us to do. Why? Because it took 2 weeks to show it to us. So it's easy to join such institutions, like I said again, but it is also good that we must begin to learn ourselves to replicate such. So for us at our team, induction is 1 full day or at least 2 days, depending on what we're dealing with. But in those days, 1 day or 2 days, you are not touching them. You are not working, you will sweat, you will carry everything, you are just watching. Because we must send a message to you, we must communicate to you that it's more critical that you hear us and you understand why we do what we do and just doing it. All right. So with that said, can I get a question or a comment on anything that I think this one was clear? Eh? Is there anything pending?
I just want to know the point that you're making about those two scenarios of somebody wanting to come here, and then can they do it, and then can they learn, and can they implement it?
Yeah.
It's just what you just said now.
Yeah.
But I also just want to say that recognizing what gaps are, let's say, in my operation, I was prepared to put down everything and say, let me go and see what is it that I don't know. And what I do know, how can I strengthen it? Yeah, so, I mean, I think it's still talking about those 3 different people, about what you're really trying to achieve. If something is important enough, you'll give it the priority it deserves.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that I can.
Pleasure. Thank you for the feedback. Right. So we'll kindly ask that maybe we take a short break again, be like 10 minutes. Then we regroup, we finish up business systems. Since we have only 2 businesses, I think the last part will be easier for us to handle. The main structure of the class was supposed to be 3 hours of training, and then 30 minutes of each one of you sitting with your team member to discuss what has been trained, look at what you have said, and then spend 20 minutes after with me, the instructor, to look through what you have planned so that you can go and do and also respond to the assignment. So the assignments here are not going to be theoretical. Say, imagine X, Y, Z. No, it is exactly your business issues. Are you seeing that? Yeah. So we need to create what is called a living document. That by the time we start now, the time you are finishing in 2 months' time, there's a set of documents that have been created, but also there's some actions you have been doing against those documents. So that is what we are looking at. So I'll just ask also that you just take a few minutes for both of you that are here. That's I'll ask my colleague, Taonga, is on, yeah, Taonga is on the media. So he would like to, just take like short videos, 1 minute or 2 minutes, where you just explain how maybe how you got to know about this, number one, and then number two, so far, how is it coming, and what are you looking forward to as you look, what do you see? What's your vision of yourself in 2 months' time? Yeah, so that's those three things. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay. Don't worry, we're not going to ask you anything about the business details. So, or you just have, but you know what you do at the workplace. Yeah, that's fine. So you just simply indicate so and so, and I, we got to know about this in this way. Or if you don't know how you got to know, you just simply mention, say, this is what we do as so-called agree, and I do X, Y, Z, and we are looking forward. And so far, I've learned this in this training and how you feel about it, and then indicate what you like to see as you reach the end. Mr. Mpundu, I mean, we have another training, so we'll be doing this every single time because we want to also capture, like how you're feeling for each session as we keep on going, so that we can look back and say, where are we standing? Yeah. So Okay. Kimoneo, can you hear us now? Okay.
Yes, sir. It's back. It's back.
So I was saying that the concerning business systems, the best systems we can see that have withstood time and which all of us must be mimicking is the system that God has created. And we see the first system here in the scripture, in the book of Genesis chapter 1, verse 14 to 18, is that in this verse is a clear explanation of how God began to make the whole entire world. And he put together, the suns, the stars, and everything else. And everything else that was made by him. And what is interesting actually is that it was done since then till now. He has not come back. After 7 days that we believe he said, on the 6th day, on the 7th day, he rested. He has been resting. Now, without me being taken up strongly into my direction of preaching, I would like to ask a question. Would you like to rest while running your business? Do you desire some rest?
I think it's needed.
Okay. Critical. Rest is rest. There's no, I don't know what type of rest. There's a difference between laziness and rest. I am talking about rest. Rest. Would you like to rest? There are some institutions or situations where, like, I like how she explained when she was giving the point that she said, I am the marketing manager, the operations manager, I am the, you understand? There's no rest in there. You are running. After making the product, you must find who's buying. After you found them, you must take. Maybe my mic has gone low. Yeah. Okay. Right. So just be watching this one, eh? Be watching this one if it goes off. All right. So there's a respiratory system, taking in oxygen, taking out carbon dioxide. Never changed. Since the day you were born, since you were in your mother's womb, you came out, same thing. Every time. Talk about other digestive systems. Food enters from the top, goes out from the back, and it is done the same way, right way, all the time. Unless you do what Madam Margaret is trying to solve here. You start eating the wrong things, then they start causing other problems, right? But otherwise, it follows the same way. And in solving this issue, I want to take a situation in the book of Genesis chapter 18, when Moses was made a leader of 3 million people. Is that the number of your employees? 3 million. Yeah? But this guy was, now you can imagine, he had 3 million employees. And last time you mentioned to say there are banks that have organizations. With the 3 million that were there, just help our brother who's not with us here. So with the 3 million people, what the other man came to do, the father-in-law, man called Jethro, you can read that in Genesis chapter 18, is that Jethro came and visited him just to see how he's doing, not to spy or anything. And while they were talking with Jethro, Jethro noticed that, like some of us here, I'm amazed so far that I've not seen many phone calls. But because everything passes through you, it's phone call after phone call after phone call, because somebody is asking about something, including just writing a receipt. Can I issue them a receipt? They call you. Now, Jethro is watching, sitting with Moses, trying to have a cup of tea, seeing his son-in-law. But he realizes that every few minutes, someone comes and is explaining an issue to Moses. Sir, this side, 2 people were fighting. What should we do? And Moses says, you know what happened? And they explain to him, says, okay, do this with them. After 10 minutes again, they want to start talking again. Somebody walks in again. That doesn't look like the rest that God went into on the 7th day. It doesn't look like that. It doesn't look like that. So Jethro then says, whoa, 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 whoa. I don't know why he said this, whether he just liked Moses or he was thinking about his daughter becoming a widow. But I think it's the latter, personally. He's like, look, you may die young, you leave my daughter with a child. Listen, sir, this is not how you run an organization. Can I give you a few tips? And this is how Jethro begins to explain to him, say, can you find people under you that you can appoint? And those people that you appoint, can you also ask them to find other people under them that they can appoint, all the way until down to families. So from family to a simple community, from a community all the way until it reaches you. You should be the last person to hear about anything. And when people have failed to solve all the issues, then you can come and deal with it. And then this is when he finally realized that he could actually transfer the ability to make decisions and all those things to other people, that he laid his hands on a few other people and they were able to deal with the same issues. Can you imagine? They were able to deal with the same level of issues that Moses would deal with. And this is the challenge that sometimes we experience as business owners and leaders, is that we feel like we are the only ones that can make things the way they can be made. But that is not true. There are people we can share to who can do it even far better than us in our own organization. And the moment you begin to think like that, the moment you begin to recognize that, you have opened up yourself for pure growth if you're going to look at that. So talking about why business systems matter is that business systems will help you provide consistency and efficiency. They will bring you consistency and efficiency. So apart from things happening fast enough, is that they will also bring in consistency. Now, are you a kind of person who you want your products to look the same way all the time? You want your customers to feel the same way all the time. And there's one typical issue that I've seen over time that that you see in different organizations, where you go to that office and you find that today there is John seated on the table, and John receives you, you have a conversation with him. Next time you come after 2 days, you come and find Isaiah. And Isaiah is not the way John was. And now you are saying, hey, Isaiah, where is John? I would like to talk to the guy who was here last week. He is the one that dealt with me. Why are you requesting for the old guy? Because you are feeling a difference in assistance. Are you following me? You are feeling a difference in service. You are feeling a difference in the product. And I want to inform you that if you're going to have clients coming to you all the time, is that you may need to introduce consistency in your business. Not just consistency in supply, but consistency in experience. You need to create consistency in experience. Today, your clients buy your food, it has got 1% salt. They buy it again the other time, it has got 2% salt. The other time, it has 5%. The other time, it has gone back to 1%. What you're doing there is that you are not creating consistency. And what happens is that people reject anything.
I mean, it's limited because obviously I get tired.
How many can you do?
No, you don't need it.
100. Okay, what if you are 5 of you?
More than that.
Yeah. So now, but if you don't have a system, you shift from being the one doing the 100. I can actually bet you that you may end up actually doing none with 5 people.
If you don't do that,
Yeah.
if you don't have a system,
If there is no system, what you end up doing is in one day, the day she was supposed to have made 5, she would be correcting the 300 this one have made. No. You understand? Now, instead of making the 100 she would have made by herself, she's now correcting the 300. So the 300 will be ready in 4 days' time. Are you following me? So when not done right, you can't grow. But when you do it right, you have 5 people. Every individual that you are bringing in is producing exponential numbers. You know, what you are then doing there is that, is it working? Okay. Is producing exponential numbers. What you're doing there is that you are increasing scalability, you are increasing growth, the potential for you to be able to grow. So the key systems that I want us to deal with today is starting from the organogram, all the way job description, standard operating procedures, all the way down to checklists and key performance. So when we want to start, we say pinpoint the key processes that are in your organization, document them, outline step by step, and automate. We may come to automation one day, but for now, the first 2 are very important. And we are going to create an organogram first. I'm going to create an organogram. The issues you've been running away from is that right now we're going to deal with them. So if we look at the organogram, that is what an organogram is. That is what an organogram is. Now, this is just an example of an organization I run somewhere else, right? Is that we have a situation where we have a breakdown. We start from the top there, it's an organization. We're indicating to say, oh, we have got that team there, that team there, that team there. But on the flip side, an organogram also could look like on top here indicating that this is the CEO. Are you following me? The CEO, the MD. Then coming down here is the marketing department, the marketing manager. From the marketing manager, I've got the logistics manager. Then I also have got the CTO, which is the IT manager. Are you following me? The IT manager. Then I have the agricultural technical manager. Then I have, the farm manager. So this is a structure that shows you exactly who is who in the organization, and we usually use it for what is called command structure, the structure of authority. It is very helpful for people to know if I am employed here as the assistant, I am reporting to the manager for logistics. Now, I want to tell you that one of the other biggest challenges in organization is when someone arrives as an employee and they only know you as the owner. They have found 4 other people there and they don't know where those 4 other people are lying against them. People have no problem subjecting themselves to authority when they know who is leading. But when they don't know, then anyone on that day can lead. Then where are people going to be going? This is where I see my friend doing something wrong. I can't say anything because I'm also wondering, where am I? Who am I here? Who am I to say anything? What authority am I using to be able to correct this person? So these are things that we need to assess. We need to look into. Now we're going to become practical now. We're going to become practical now. I want us to start on our organogram, and this is how I want you to start. The beauty about having to start a business is that you get to work in different roles. Are you seeing that? So that should give you a view. And how you draw an organogram is very simple. Just ask yourself, what do I usually do? Are you saying, what do I usually do to achieve what I need to provide to my clients? What do I usually do? So you list out the things that you usually do. I make the product. Are you seeing that? If you're the one that makes it, I make it. We make it. Or I go and buy, we go and procure things. We go and convince organizations to buy our products. Then from there, we package our products in sacks. Then from there, I also, so you have gone to business development, you have gone out to produce. I am the one that manages what is in the warehouse, to count. I'm the one that counts every day. I count what stock we have, what stock is remaining, and what is going out. So you are listing, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do. And as you do that, you are simply stating. I want to reverse us a little bit. I want to pause us first. Let's pause for a second. Pause for a second. Follow the style I want to give you. It will make your life easy. List what you do. Yeah, list what you do. Or what happens in the organization where you work. Just list whatever happens you see happening there. Yes. All right, great stuff. Sure, I didn't get much on the business system and the lesson from Moses. Okay, so everyone else you can be listing as I'm responding to Mr. Matale online, right? Is that okay? Awesome. So, Mr. Matale, what we are saying on business systems is that they help you with, if you can see the screen right now, the first thing is that they help you create consistency. Now, for you, for example, who runs a company that does production of different materials like metallic gates, windows, and things like that, is that your concern is to create consistency on how gates look like, even if it's not you who made it. So how do you make sure that your gate looks the same way all the time, whether it is Kimaneo who has made it or anybody else made it in the team? It should always, if the client asked for a black gate that looks in a particular way, Kimaneo will do it in the same way, with the same materials, same amount of time taken. And if his colleague also in the company will do it the same way, same amount of time, and it will come out the same result. So how do you create this consistency is the question number one. Number two, how do you reduce reliance on people calling you? You have gone on leave, you have gone on break, and then, or you are somewhere else in town, and the client has come and has asked for a window frame, and then your colleagues who know how to also weld, but they're consistently calling you, asking you questions to say, you know, how do I now connect this part? How do I cut this thing? How do I do all those things? How do you stop all that? It is through business systems. Lastly, it's on scalability. You can't grow because the question is that how, without business systems, you will not be able to grow. How many gates or window frames can Kimaneo make by himself? There's a limit. It will probably maybe one in a period of time. But if Kimaneo could be able to replicate his level of consistency and greatness in terms of how he makes things with a touch that is good for his clients, is that then they can be able to, your team members, whoever, however many they may be, 10, 20, 30, they can do the same work the way you would do it, and therefore allowing you to do this in Gaborone, in Francistown, in Palape, so many different places where you can do it from, and you don't have to be there because they can replicate exactly what you are capable of doing because you've put it in a way that they can do it. That is, first of all, what business systems is all about. Then we are talking about the fact that even God, through Jethro, taught Moses how to create a system. And he told him in Genesis chapter 18 to say that through Jethro, Jethro told Moses to say, you will die out of exhaustion if you keep on working alone and you're the only one who knows what to do. Can you replicate your capacity and your capability in other people? And by doing that, create leaders of leaders of leaders of leaders and show them what they need to do and transfer to them what you have to them so that they can also execute on your behalf. And this is how Moses, like God, entered into rest. So business systems have an agenda of putting all of us as children of God in rest. If you follow them, you will start resting. If you don't follow them, you will be running every single day, every single morning. You're the only one doing everything. So that is what we are talking about. And then we indicated that we are starting out with the organogram, and the organogram looks like this. It looks like this structure here. And we are saying that, but you need to draw it you need to draw it for your organization, starting with the first person on top there, which is you, if you are the CEO or the manager, the managing director, going all the way down to different people who are coming down there. But we are starting somewhere else. We are saying, can you list down what you usually do in your company yourself? What do you do? Are you the one, for example, for you, are you the procurement person? Are you the one that buys? Are you the one that buys materials? Are you the one that receives payments from clients? Are you the one that does record keeping? Are you the one that also talks to clients when they come to buy things, which means you are the customer service person? Are you the one also that markets on social media? Are you the one that is doing the marketing on social media? Are you the one posting around? Are you the one, write down what you do in the organization, list it down. So I want to ask if we're on the same page now, Kimaneo.
Yes, sir. I have gotten it. So mostly when on the business systems,
Can you go again?
yeah, I do get you. I do get you. So mostly what I can say I have understood on business systems is ensuring that I understand how long does it take to make a product and to ensure that the product that is being made, it's consistent. It's product A is similar to product Z, then the time frame we take to make it, then from there it will be like the people that you train so that they can do the exact same thing while I'm not, I'll say, active on the site in a way.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then yeah, with the organ, that's when I heard it. So it's more like each and every activity that is required to make a product, I have to list it down and try so that I can understand what's the input, I'll say the actions that you have to make in order to come up with the product.
Yes. At this point in time, Kimane, I want to step away from the product. I want us to stand on the organization first before you go to the product. So list what you do in the organization, not to make the product, but to be in the organization. What activities do you do? For example, you are the one that does sales. You are the one that does marketing on social media. I am the one that makes the products. I am the one that receives payments from clients. I am the one that, so list all those things, first of all, towards the organization, not towards the product. The product is just one part. You are the one that makes it. But what other things do you do in the organization? What do you have here? Could you read us something, what you have there?
So,
okay. Yeah.
I'm also in charge of coaching community plan.
Okay.
And also learning of material and processing.
Okay. All right. Great stuff. I like it. I'll come with it. What do we have here?
Services and product people.
Yeah.
Marketing, sales,
Yeah. Yeah. Great stuff. I love that. Yes. Yeah. No rest at all. No rest at all. Let me throw in some shade. I hope you understand my joke. Yes, there's an interesting scripture in the Bible that says, "There's no rest for the wicked." Can you imagine that? Yeah. So remember what I said. It's a joke, right? Not directly mentioning it in this angle. It just came to my mind to say, God put up systems to rest on the seventh day. You understand that? And I think we have to be smart like God and put up stuff that is going to help us rest as well. That doesn't mean that you go like you go missing forever. You understand that? Because this is your vision. So you have to be there, but you have to be at rest. You have to work from your point of rest. You are working on the system, not in it. That's the goal, right?
Yeah.
So now, having said that, Kimaneo, have you written anything yet? Let me see if I can hear him.
yes, sir.
Have you put down?
Yeah. So with me, it's more like I have to do the training of the guys that I work with, production, sales and marketing, ensuring that as for like purchasing the material, I usually do the material list, then I send someone to go and purchase them for me. So I have to put that out. Then, but much of I'll say the activities, I'll have to do them.
Yes, I need you to list down all the things that you do, because that is what makes your organization.
Okay.
Yes. And I'll continue from there. Once we have done that, then now is when you can draw this diagram.
All right.
Are you following me? Then you ask, so for you, for example, right, you can do it because you said that's what I do. So you can do that for your department. That's your department. Yeah. In your department, you are standing there. There will be this part where you need to do logistics. You need to do processing. You need to do the other thing. Now, the interesting thing is that tells you that as your business, as this business circle grows, you will have people there one day. Right now, it's you doing all the things. Are you following me? Okay, so I want us to draw it now. Produce. turn it into this now, starting with you on top. So what's your job position? Aha. So as operations assistant, put there to say operations assistant, then put down processing, what, all the way down. And I want you to do the same. Start with a managing director or CEO on top, and then accounting and record keeping is accounts.
Yes.
Yes. So your managing director there or CEO, accounts down there, and then, you know, just like that. If they are in the same level, put them in the same level. If they are not, put them below. This little exercise of creating an organogram is a very powerful activity because of what is about to happen next. Yeah, because of what's about to happen next. So you draw your organogram.
This one is a whole lot.
And put them under you, like
This
him.
one, the other thing that restricted having people in there is marketing.
Yep.
But the growth in terms of market penetration and demand
Uh-huh.
is now the jet itself. And somebody doing this.
Yeah.
Generate money. And that's not enough. Because now everything can only do so much in the day.
Okay. So let me give you an example of I don't know whether this will be this. Let me try. Oh, I have to expand it from this side. Yeah. That's it. Okay. So it's a simple example. So the organization I showed you before, the organogram. This is now, so that's the structure of the company itself in terms of departments, right? But this is now the organogram of the positions, which is what you're doing now. Are you seeing that? Which is what you've done there. So here is where the CEO sits. And then they have an executive secretary. Then they also have a general manager, which you are the operations person, and you are indicating that you want to hire an operations person. So that's the person that comes here. They are usually between these. Everybody else usually falls under them. Are you seeing that? Or sometimes what people do is that the reason why I prefer that there's a general manager or the operations manager where everybody else falls under to is that then there is a point where you have someone who is reporting to you over everybody's situation. Otherwise, you can actually have the CTO and these other bigger people next to the general manager as equal. Yeah, but then what I've learned is that then it means that their back ends on you. So it means that any issue they have is on you again. Yes, so it is better that they have somebody they speak to, and then whenever issues escalate beyond it, they can always respond to you. You are back at doing everything. So now I want us now to see the reality of something here. Once I drew this, I then realized that, because I'm going to ask a question, because this, if you look at it like this, you see, these are all positions. If the organization has enough resources, finance, and all those things, and we are running at that place, there should be a person everywhere on this position. Are you following me? Now, while they are not there, while the funds are not there, or whatever reason, they are not there, the people are not there, who do you think is doing all this? The owner of the business. Do you understand me? So there, actually, you have even drawn a very, very small dot diagram that doesn't even fully reflect. Because when you go into accounts, you realize that this is accounts. Are you seeing this? This is head of finance and accounting. Because accounting and finance are two different things. Head of accounting and head of finance. So usually I say financial controller. Two different things, the accountant and the financial controller and the financial officer. Two different things. So now here the financial officer is here, the finance lead who's next there, the accountant this side. Account receivables this side, then you have an accountant. When you talk about what do you call it? Head of technology, under that you have got someone who's handling software. This side, this whole entire group, this side, come again on this side. This is where for us the Agape business usually lies. Is that we have a head of farmhouse. We have got a business called farmhouse. It's a whole entire business. It is run by all this group of people. Now, what I want to say is this: all these positions that exist here that have no person, you are the person. You are the person doing all those things. And you need to have that clarity in your head. Now, this clarity is also critical. I'm not trying to bring problems or enmity for people and all those things, but I want to just send a correct message, most especially when you have a partner. I have always had a partner, which is amazing, and has been very helpful and emotional support. Though one of the conversations that you would have now is, what action are you doing? What am I doing? And it's very difficult to know what action you're doing when you don't have this. When you have this, is that it will tell you because you realize that you are here and everything else, and maybe your partner is just, usually they just maybe they go and you're laughing. They usually just go and maybe let's say they are the ones that file returns. You get the point? So they are down here. Even under accounts, you have to put down here and say returns, financial returns. That's where they are. You are everything else this side. and you are burning out and you don't know how and why. So you need to be able to do something that follows this. Once you have drawn the organogram like this, you now need to create a contract for each position. Are you following me? Create a contract for each position. In that contract, you state what's the name of the position. What's the name of the position? Number two, you state issues to do with what are the requirements for someone to do the job there. Now, the requirements to do the job, don't write what you have read somewhere or don't get these things on ChatGPT and stuff like that. No. Write what you usually do on that position. So when Adanasio is procuring groundnuts or cassava from farmers, right? What does he do? You write, first of all, Adanasio goes to a database of all farmers. Are you seeing that? Then Adanasio calls all the farmers and informs them about what? About the fact that he wants to buy. Then Adanasio checks online prices. Are you following me? So this is what you are doing. I love the fact that you're shaking your head. The second time somebody is shaking your head in a meeting and go like, man, I need to do all this. Yes. So you need to write that down. Put a contract for every position. And if you are going to try and to be an extremist, sign all the contracts that of the jobs you are doing. Have you heard that? For the organogram, sign for all the positions where you are hired. And put how much you would expect to give all the people in the contract. So this position here, this one will need 1,000. This one will need 2,000. This one will need 3,000. This one will need 5,000. Put all those and then sign those contracts by yourself. Even if you don't do it completely, do it in your head. But you know that here, if this business is going to go anywhere, these positions one day, they will need to be filled up. And it looks like 15,000 quarter. Are you seeing that? So right now I'm doing this by myself. I'm doing everything. But what actually is the real cost of what's going on here is 15,000, or for the whole entire thing is 30,000. But you're giving yourself a perspective of how things should work on the organogram. Yeah, you're giving yourself a perspective. You're not trying to scare yourself. You're giving yourself a perspective. So have we taken note of this? Are we good? Yeah. Okay. So let me switch back. Okay, so that whole entire organogram, a majority of it was around here. Did you notice that? This part here, that's what I was using. So I'll proceed. So for all those positions, you need to have what? A job description. You need to have a job description. And the job description for every position, so those positions you wrote, Madam, which are about 6 or 7, the operations person, where is their job description? Yes, we need on paper. You know, the Bible says in Habakkuk, Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, it says that write a vision down so that those who read it may be able to do what? To run. So you don't expect people in your team to run with the things you have told them to run with when they don't know what to read, they don't know what they're doing. But if you have given them this job description, they can run comfortably because they look there and say, "This is my responsibility." I want to put some blame around this job description thing. This job description is also one of the factors why employees just look at you in the organization and they're just wondering, what is going on here? What is going on here? You know, we don't do a service to new employees. You must have a rule for yourself to say, when a new member comes in, they have 1 week. 1 week, they must know everything that they're supposed to do on their responsibility. 1 week, 3 days, 1 month, whatever it is that you have set out as a timeline, they must know and deliver at a good point. Once they reach that level, you must know what does it take for your business for someone to do it fully. So you say, fine, mine is 1 month. So in 1 month, you must have one action, deliberate action after the other to try and achieve that factor. So write a job description, have a job description for every position. Now, you can say, I'll follow your point, Amanda Margaret, that maybe right now you don't have time on those things. After you draw the organogram, go for the positions that are about to be filled up outrightly, like operations. But what I've also learned is that if you leave that away, if you leave out the other ones, when you employ the operations person, they also be wondering what are those other responsibilities supposed to be. So you're back at talking again, talking with your mouth. So just as much as you can, do what you can. Produce the organogram to the best of your capabilities. Are you following me? Produce the job description to the best of your capabilities. So put in there, what's the job, what's the name of the company, the responsibilities of the person, what are the qualifications? Now, the benefits and the perks, the application. Now, I'll say something interesting here. On the qualification, don't put the qualifications of the person who has come. Put the qualifications of the person you would want the person to have. Even if you have employed a certificate holder, but you are saying that in this position, it would be so good if the person is a doctor, has a doctorate, or which is a PhD, or has an MBA or a degree. That's what you put here. What you are telling the person who is on that position is that I expect you to grow while you are here. Are you following me? So that you can enter the place where, the place that I have planned for you. So, just a second. Okay, so that's the job description. So, responsibilities and duties, qualifications. All qualifications I've said, speak into the future, right? Speak into the future than current. So you can bring in a certificate holder, get top holder. But when giving them the JD, they must see there that and I think these are things that in a subtle manner. There are some team members, you bring them in. They have no qualification whatsoever. You give them a position and they feel like they have already arrived. That problem arises is that this person thinks that they are doing you a favor for being around. But when they read their JD and the JD says you need an MBA, the person starts thinking, I need to work hard. You understand that? Because the truth of the matter is that if somebody shows up, if this thing grows, and this is where the liberty I find in this, is that we can even be telling an employee, my friend, I'm looking forward to your growth. You need to work hard. Look here, we're saying that we want you to be at this level. So any opportunities we will find, we will push you through. Please grow yourself. But because listen, if this organization grows and someone comes who's higher than you, we are getting them. I tell people very clearly in the organization to say, you don't get promoted because of how long you have been here. It is based on what you are able to provide. And I would like to ask you, my colleague Sandy, Mr. Sirungwe, come and share something. I want you to talk about something something interesting to do with. So this is Mr. Sandy Sirungwe from Good Nature Agro. I'm not sure whether you're head of Good Nature.
Good.
Yes. So
we're also here.
Yeah. But you're known for it, for the
East.
Yeah. He's one of the founders, the co-founder. Yeah. So there are 3 of them. He's one of them, and they have been around, I think, 11 years now. Done a great job. I wanted to talk about how that, because I've seen it with them, like a lot of times. Like there are people who started out early on with them in the business, who, for lack of a better term, Not that they neglected themselves, but they just never like they never upgraded themselves. It's not their fault. It's not the company's fault, but they just never upgraded themselves, and the organization grew. And the organization needed people at just a minute. I'm gonna allow you. The organization needed people at the higher level. So they started out from down there. When they needed them, account clerk, what all those things. But as the organization is growing, they needed higher level people and stuff like that. And the people down here had become good at the skill that they were doing, but they were not qualifying on the qualification wise. Are you seeing that? That they couldn't take those responsibilities up there. I want to hear, like from a practical perspective, how that looks like, and if there's any example that suits.
Sure, sounds good. I think you already gave what we usually do, which is like draft out what you want. There's what you dream about, and then there's what you can manage. Basically, what you can live with, and what you can live with is pretty much anyone. I believe in an adage which I read from HR because I did most of the hiring. So you're speaking to exactly what I was doing in the first, I think, 5 years of the business. You hire for character and train for skill. It's a very nice human resource adage because it also helps you clarify what kind of values you build, and then you look for the people that you want. So when Gilbert asked about that, I think you're talking about a very good number of people that I really treasure. They are good people. They are moldable into any position. But the truth is, when you're looking at corporate structure, when you're looking at growth and you're looking at direction, sometimes you really need people that are way, way above that. And that's when you start poaching, you start looking elsewhere, you start adding to the dream that you've already drafted. So a good example, I'll take from one angle, which is, I think, something you mentioned, like finance. We had a finance person, very good, they can do everything. And then we had an accountant who's also very good, understands everything. And then on the other extreme, we had people that started out as like logistics people, the drivers, and then they started to help in the warehouse. And then we realized that they are very good at making things, adding things, so packaging things, putting things in order. What happened to the finance and the accounts person is that we needed somebody who is like a chief finance officer. That was our dream. That's something that we already drafted. And those two could not be, even combined. They needed somebody who can talk the language of, let me bring money, where's money missing, how do I understand accounts, how do I present this to a wider board. And these two are good, but it's just not their skill set. So even if we take them to school, it will take us another 5 years, but we need it today. So what you said is what we've been doing, is that we advise people, upgrade, whether it's your exposure, your skill. Sometimes it is even character. It's like, be the finance person, hold it, feel it. When you see big figures, don't get scared. This is what we prepped you for. So we brought somebody on, but that person came in with what we had already structured as this is the ideal person we want, but we already structured the values that we wanted. So we didn't just choose any CFO. We needed somebody that understands us. In fact, the truth is we brought on somebody to study them. So we brought them on a different role, but we saw what they had, the qualification, the skill, and the exposure. And then over 2 years, we built them to become the CFO, and they are CFO, and a powerful CFO. And then the accounts and the finance person, one remained to become like the finance admin, so the financial controller pretty much. And then the accounts person grew in studies to become somebody that looks at treasury. So and we exchange money, so like it's a busy thing because of a culture trade. You get USD, you need to change it to Kwacha, you try to look at Rand, that person is one that's very good at that because that's what they went to school for. And that's what they've been building themselves towards. So it became useful for them. The driver side, that's a kind of a sad story. We ended up firing them because they became relevant. The first logistics person, we loved them. Everybody knew this is the person when it comes to like little jobs, somewhat of an office order. Then they grew into a warehouse person. Then we brought on the ideal warehouse person. Then this person felt like, well, Since you brought in somebody from school, I shouldn't be doing anything. So it became like a clash of egos now. And unfortunately, even though they were good and they were great and they were with us long enough, we could not keep them. They had to leave. So the people are now building that structure we want, and it's now been 4 years, and it looks good. It's been, warehousing is not just putting stuff there. It's like somebody that controls the plan of what comes in, what goes out, where, what seats, understanding its safety, and all that kind of stuff. There's a whole array of people. So I think, just take away is that people are moldable, but to some extent, your dreams are supposed to be very clear, solid. And then I think a thing that can add, I don't know if you spoke about this, is like really draft your values as well. Your values distinguish who you are, because people need to read. So good nature for us, it's not just the name, it's also in the behavior. We're good-natured people. So it has the characters of ambition. You find anybody at good nature that will be very ambitious, very innovative, positive. They have, a mindset of a farmer, whether it's a care or the interests. And then the last part is that they are also very attuned to quality and they're very transparent. So those are values. They walk with them. You can ask anybody of those, they know what those stand for. And if they go off them, then they know they're not part of it.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, no problem. I just bring tea.
Okay. Thank you. But I think that was helpful, right? Like practically, right? Seeing how, and I'm sure we have seen it where we have worked before. But this is practically how it looks like in a business where you are running it. And this is why I'm learning nowadays. Don't overpromise people when you are trying to convince them to come into your organization. Going like, come in. No, don't worry. You will be the chief XYZ one day. No. Just simply tell them, look, you're coming in for this, because very soon, at some point, you may find that they have failed to grow. And now you promise them that they are the ones. And this is when they start clashing now with the person that you bring in now. Yeah. So the next thing that you need to draw up there, too many drawing ups, is the SOP. Now, the SOP is for the JD, not for the one that we had done, the standard of operations. Yes, that is why I had given a pre-warning, right? So the SOP that you need to do now is for the JD. What are the things that the person should do? Can I tell you something that was like, I found very interesting. Like one time, because of what you mentioned, having that nature and having that, that natured person, we used to have, we have a store in Libara as Amira, as Team Seeker. So the person at the store, can you imagine that I wanted them to talk to clients in a certain way? And because I didn't want, when a client comes, when they find this one, they say, where is it? I didn't want that. I wanted everybody to present themselves exactly the same way. So I have it under, first of all, the core values. We have what is called customer care. Are you saying that? Customer care. And obviously, I have put it under what comes after that? The standard of operations, then the KPIs, right? But I have it also in their JD as a shopkeeper. As a shopkeeper, I have it written in the JD that you must have customer care. Now, under customer care, I then created SOPs on how the shopkeeper must behave in the shop. I have things like you must smile. I have written that. It's a written sentence. Smile when a client comes. While you're talking to one client, don't start talking to another one. If the other one comes, greet them, but then tell them that you're talking to this other one. These are things that you be correcting one another every day if you don't write down and give them over to the person to read. So put the SOPs down. And the SOPs I'll tell you to say, it will be like, okay, you do stock take every Tuesday. You start stock take, you start with this unit of products, come to this unit of products, come to this unit of products. Now, you don't have to write every product. That way, product 1, 2, 3, 4. No. You can simply say, if you've got 3 compartments, Start with this compartment, go to that compartment, go to that other one. Count in alphabetical order. Why this is critical is that there is a checklist that follows. Yes, there's a checklist that follows. So you are bringing in an operations, for example, but you have people that help you package, right?
Yeah, because I would outsource some of these.
Okay. So if you have people that are packaging, for example, the person who is on operation needs to follow them up with their checklist. Because you see, people will forget things. People will forget things, and you just be every time you're about to execute something. Oh, what about this? Oh, what about that? What about that? What about this? You know? So when you have a checklist, the checklist speaks to the SOP. There are only things that are listed here from the SOP. Right? Only things that are on the SOP are coming on the checklist. So when you look at the checklist, you then say, okay, issue number one. And I made a small write-up over this, and I said, look, have you ever wondered why when you go to a place like Hungry Lion, you find things the same way all the time? When you go to the bathroom, I don't know, but I have rarely found a bathroom at Hungry Lion, at Nando's, dirty. I find it clean. I don't know which one you have used, but for me, I found the ones I've gone to multiple times, they are clean. Now, what's going on there? Is it that people didn't use that bathroom or any of those things? Because those places are over-visited, if you have noticed. Hungry Lion has a lot of clients that come through. So why is it that their toilets don't look like the ones at the bus station? With the same amount of traffic, why doesn't it look like the one at the bus station? Is that someone has created an SOP that says that somebody must clean that bathroom. Now, it's one thing to write the SOP. Now, what will you find on the SOP? The SOP says that every day, every hour, you must clean the toilet. Number two, what you must start with is first of all flush. Number three, pour in Harpic, then scrub. Are you following me? Then flush again, and then spray Hazel, whatever, air freshener, and then close the door. Okay, that's your SOP. Then you get these SOPs, and then you come and put them in a checklist. Are you following me? Come and put them in a checklist. When the supervisor comes to the toilet at 9 a.m., he checks the toilet, he looks through. Was it cleaned? Did he put in Harpic? Oh yeah, I can smell the Harpic. Did he spray the hair? Oh yeah, I can smell it. Did he do it? Okay, great. Then he even signs there. I have checked this at a random time, and I found it done. Go and check behind the door of Hungry Lion on the back of the door. That's where the paper is. Yes. Do you think that paper is just for attendance for people? Why would they go put an attendance in the toilet? It's for, I have checked this toilet at a particular time, and I found it correctly done. Are we following? Yeah. So this, I tell you, is one of your liberating documents. If you have a team, this is the document that liberates you. Because now you have said that this is how I want things done. After you have said that, then now you are saying, how do we make sure that you did them that way? How do you make sure that you did them that way? The first 5 to 6 years of our business, I was the everything. I was here, I was there. Even if there were employees, I was still the everything. I had 18 employees, and I was still everything. Today, by God's grace, which is why we are standing here, just we're there also sharing the same thing. We're standing here because of the work of God and the grace of understanding these things. Is that where I stand now here? I am here. I am not thinking about what is going on in the show. There is 2 people doing everything. You had 18. There were 18 people, I was doing everything. Now there are 2 people doing everything. And I am at rest. I am standing with you here because there are these things that have been set up. When they were arriving, we read the vision, we read the mission, we spoke about the core values, we walked through all those things. And when they were coming in, there was so much pressure that they were coming. We really wanted them to just start working and they will learn everything. We said, no, we're not going to succumb to that. We will teach them faith. But then we come back to this. So there are the 2 of them. There are the 2 of them there. One is the supervisor of the other one. And they supervise them not based on their feelings. Based on the system. So there is no point where I should get the other guy who's being supervised coming to say, hi, this person is very difficult to me. They were doing X, Y, Z. I say, I just ask, where are you getting this in this? How are you finding yourself? So you find that even them, they end up becoming friends. Because they realize that if the conversation here is twofold, is personal and the systems. Me, when I come, I say, can I see the system? Can I see what the system has recorded? That's all. So that is what we are looking at there. So I want us to do a little exercise. Let us do a little exercise. Okay, so this is an exercise called bingo. Yes. All right.
I hate them.
Yeah.
And
Okay. So looking at what Mr. Silonga said, replacing someone due to the fact that they're not qualified for that level position. Do you think it's due to the fact that maybe someone didn't plan or have a proper vision for the company or something? Is it due to lack of proper planning? Yes. Yes. No, as yes, yes.
The company or
the company or the head of the company.
How do you place your personal growth, lack of personal growth, as the company's lack of vision?
When maybe let's say you go yeah. Right, and like I've been there since the beginning of the company.
Yes.
And then in the end, you just decide to get rid of me just because I'm not qualified for a certain position. And do you think that's due to the lack of planning and having a proper vision for yourself?
Yes. I think let me say yes. When there are the 2 of you drew that diagram, right? You drew that organogram. You then ask yourself, where am I in this organogram? What job am I doing in this organogram? Once you know where you are, and there's a job description and its qualification for those job descriptions, then you have a timeline. You know that you're on a ticking bomb, right? Meaning that after some time, what you know when the organization has grown beyond you, you can become irrelevant. Even as an owner. Can I dare say that also? Have you ever heard of organizations, for example, Apple, right? We know Apple? Yeah. Steve Jobs was fired at some point in the organization. Yes. He is the founder. He started it. But he was fired as the CEO. He had to come back. What you know, most of us of this story, is upon his return. But mostly, he was fired. Why was he fired? He had started struggling to lead the organization as a CEO. And you can become like that. I have sometimes seen those situations. So when that place comes, you need to go and equip yourself. Not starting to fight people in the organization, trying to bring in little people who don't know anything so that you can always look like the smart one. No, you go and also grow up. Go and improve yourself. Go and gain knowledge, gain information, get mentors, get all those things to build yourself up. Just by God's grace again, I boast in his help. Last year, I had to read, I had set a target of reading 36 books. And I think I should have hit between 18 to 20. That is to put in me also. Not just leading people, you don't know anything. No, you must also equip yourself. So you must grow. So it is the lack of a vision for the team, for the two founders. In that you have started a business and you have to run around on the ground, but what are you doing? What are you growing yourself over as you run? Attending a program like this one is part of trying to grow. You're trying to grow yourself so that you can be a better leader. And as you grow, when you become, for example, but I tell you, it's a very critical question you have asked, though, to say that, and it's not an organization issue. You need to work on yourself. If you're part of the early employees, start getting yourself a paper. Start getting yourself some qualifications. Because over time, when the organization has grown so big, when you bring in external funders, they're going to demand for qualifications for positions. Are you seeing that? Because they're now questioning your capacity. So because of that, you may find that you begin to feel like you're being sidelined. In some cases. Share something.
Yeah, sure.
2 minutes. 2 minutes there because we're running out of time.
I think it's a very situational question.
Yeah.
If you've given somebody enough room, to make their bed in this case, you tell them this is what the growth plan is. Get your education set, get your character well, whichever it is. You don't owe them any apology once they're let go. But if they don't know, and then all of a sudden, hey, we can't work with you anymore. Then I would say I'll blame the organization. But also, be very cautious. Vision is what is important. I'm pretty sure you've talked about how to drafted that. There's a point where you end up carrying people because they're just good or because they stayed with you. And then when you realize that it's actually not on your books, you can't be paying people for just, in other words, they have to be good at what they do and just be part of the vision. Gilbert was saying, it's not always that the board will fire you or the business will fire you. Sometimes it's you have to fire yourself. And I've done that so many times. I'm not an executive person in my structure. I'm there, I make influential decisions, but I chose something that I'm good at. And that's what I do. So I realize that I create position, do what Gilbert was talking about, and then when they are ready to be set, I find somebody who's way better than me, and I replace myself. And I've enjoyed that. The first time it was so painful. I realized I'm not the person that's supposed to do this job. I told you I was hired. I'm not HR. I didn't go to school for that. But though I'm good at finding the right people, I don't have the right statutory requirements for me to become HR. I didn't have a lot of, for example, plan on succession, all those kind of things. For me, be like, we'll just leave each day as it comes. This person's good, therefore let them be. And then you realize this person is not growing. Where is their productivity notes? So it needs somebody who's got to school for that, who will stand in industrial court because it happens, and prove that they actually went to school for it. So when you're small, these things feel okay. But when you grow, you need to feel emotion. Just learn that. Let's give you an example. Bigger structures, say this bank that's in this building here. If somebody has been a cleaner for a long time, then they don't show up for 9 months because people know her and observe each other. It won't be the CEO's job and the system will do it. You get my point. Even though the CEO is best friends with the CEO's job was to try to get that in at the point of not missing, because understand the values, understand what they're there for, There's a, I can't remember which president, must be JFK, went to NASA to go and launch a rocket and found the cleaner cleaning. Said, what's your job here? The person said, is to put man on the moon. That's what the cleaner said. How are you putting man on the moon? Say, if these floors are not clean, astronauts will be questioning why the floor is not clean. It'll go all the way to why you're not caring for this place, and therefore not putting the man on the moon. So everybody has to understand what the mission is for that. Otherwise, they're just being paid. And we've been there where I have friends because I knew that they were good at it and chief brought them on. And then when they were in, they became reluctant. You know what? This thing crashed was there. Truth is, I said, guys, you're not doing this, and it left. It never crashed. It grew. Sometimes you are the biggest yourself. You are the biggest barrier to growth. So you have to fire yourself in the system. So to bring on people that are with. And this is where now even cash is involved. You have to swallow your pride and sometimes pay people 10 times and then more than you to just make sure it survives.
That's what experience. Was where I wanted to be known all over TV, all those things and all that. But then when I remember that it's for God and it's about a vision being met, I took a step backwards. And now I grow systems, I grow organizations, I grow things so that other people can thrive and things can be done and I can be at rest. So that is what I want. That's a very good example he has given us. You may need to fire yourself if you find that you're incompetent for the sake of the vision being met. And firing yourself may not mean completely leaving, maybe just shift into a lower position. I remember one time when we had a very big project and we needed to get done for the client. And the client was paying a lot of money and they had strong credibility was involved. I had a few individuals and I paid them more money. I will give you the values. I paid each one of them about 4,000, 5,000 quarter, and my salary was 1,200. And the money ended, $30,000 ended while I'm getting 1,200 and they are getting 4,500, 5,000. That's the point. But that's what I'm trying to say, that you must be willing to demote yourself.
You understand your vision and how to achieve it. That's why
it's about the vision. So Madam Margaret, I want to keep on reminding you that the ideal world we would want to have is that everybody gets what we have said right now, that it's about the vision. But sadly, not everyone gets it. Yes.
I think it's one of those solutions.
Yeah.
That I have read. I think we're having a conversation with you. I wanted to say that, look, how come you can pay and get Shoprite coming here? Are you telling me after 60 years or 50 years of human resource development, we are not capable of establishing something like that as Zambians? Is that really true? I don't think so. I think there's technical capabilities, but there's something cultural as well, which hinders us from being able to do. I do not believe that the South Africans that bring these franchises here, that we haven't gotten to a point of experience and exposure to replicate that. Because in fact, my model of what I'm doing in terms of agro-processing is using the same model that they're using. If they're going to freeze carrots, they're going to freeze potatoes. I can do sweet potatoes and do this, understand what is, from a nutritional point of view, what is that needs to be done so that you can have that thing outside the season. So to me, the templates are there, but why are we not able to do it?
We are answering the question here. The answer is very simple. Is that have you realized how much work I've just given you so far? Yes. And that is what no one wants to do. People want to arrive and find everything working, and they arrive in Pick and Pay as the GM or as the accountant, and there's a system that was brought from somewhere. All they're just doing is punching in the number. That's what we want to do. And I want to put a disclaimer. There's nothing wrong with that. We are okay with it. But if we're going to respond to your question, why are we not doing it ourselves? It's simply that you're not going to find it like that. You have to make it. Are you seeing how the situation looks like, right? Is that you will need to replicate. Otherwise, your systems cannot go beyond the Kantemba outside your house, because you cannot manage to actually receive 3 trucks at the same time. How will you don't have any order in which the 3 trucks will arrive at your premises to release the biscuits, to release the milk, to release the whatever. You have no order. You have no order on what arrived and what goes to the shop to be sold, because some things will go bad. You have not done that. Your job at Pick and Pay was you are just the one who was receiving. So you are just good at that. Now, if somebody has to do this, the market as a response is you have to go through the pain that we have listed today. And if you pay attention to what I've been telling you the whole entire time, or what this whole entire program is all about, I say it's not about working in, but working on. And working on simply means that you, madam, are not creating a product. You need to now shift your mind now from being product-based to organization-based. So what I'm teaching you here is not how to make a product, but it's how to turn your organization into a product. You're talking about franchising. If you do this for everything that you create that you want to sell out there, you will now have a system in your hands that creates anything. Are you following me? You have a system in your hand that creates anything, be it a service, be it a product, but you have a system. So you can get it, and actually, instead of selling those Umorio food products, you can now tell anyone in Charttered, say, hey, do you want to start selling Umorio things and making the better? I'll give you this system. Are you following me? I have an organogram. By the way, in the factory for Umorio, from factory to selling, you just need 3 people. Are you following me? You just need 3 people. The one procuring things, the one making them, and the one selling them. And this organogram, it will cost you 45,000 kwacha every single month. But when you sell the Umorio food products, you'll be making 85,000. So you are no longer selling Umorio, the kapak. You are selling the whole thing. But the only way you can be able to get that place is that you must do it first and allow people to go, wow, I would like to have that little shop right there, like that one. That's how all of us feel when we look at Hungry Lion, right? I wish I just had like a Hungry Lion franchise. I put it there and people can come to my franchise every single day, because you know that Hungry Lion has already gotten the mass. Get the mass for you. You can only get the mass for you when you run this system. You can do this with anything. You can do it with anything. You can just be replicating. Even the construction that we have got Kimaneo here, who does construction of what do you call it, fabricates things. You can decide that I am no longer concentrating on fabricating things. I'm concentrating on creating an organization that fabricates things. And then you just design how long it takes to fabricate a gate, how long it takes to fabricate a window frame, and all those things. You put up structure, and then you start going from one town to the other, telling them, look, this is how it's done. Just do it like this, do it like this, do it like this. And they pay you royalty for using your model. This is what it is. But the issue, my brother and sister, is that we are lazy. It's painful to create a model, a full structure, an ecosystem is painful. And so you choose the easier route. So that is why the interviews were rigorous. So that by the time you end up here, we know you will do it. Have you seen that? We know you will do it. So I want to leave us with one action, and we are done for the day. Is that I want us to write our KPI. So we have gotten here by saying we have come from what? This just the business system. What's the business? That's the first one we did. Organogram. We started with organogram, right? From the organogram, we have said SOP. Yes, exactly what it is the person will be doing. Then organogram, job description, SOPs, then checklist, then the KPI. Because the issue here is I am doing these things repetitively to achieve what? Are you following me? The person can be repetitively doing the right thing, but you're not meeting your goals. Are you following me? So they come at the right time at 7 hours. They open the door at the same time, they do everything, but they are just not putting in anything. So their goals are not being met. So they are working, but nothing's coming out. You don't want that. So you put KPIs, you put some goals, you put some targets, you put what would I like to achieve? And this is what you measure the checklist for. So you can measure the checklist to say, you came at the right time, you did stock tech, you did sales, you did whatever. But the KPIs are saying we must reach 5 here, you're still at 1. What's going on? Where is the disconnect? Are you following me? Where is the disconnect? So I will leave it here, and I'll ask us that we do, this is called a bingo card. So I want us to just do a, I think I even left out this. Let me see if I can give us something here. Okay, so the team will split out the notes, right, that we have used today and share them with us so that we can. Yeah. So this is like the framework of everything that we're doing. JD, put JD there. Yeah. So this is the full notes on our systems, like more detail. Yeah. Yep. Yes, it will be. So business systems. Is the same one? No. It is a syllabus, yeah. But these you will find on the website when you go to the website also. Yeah. So this one is so with all these things, this is the document that should help you. It's called the onboarding template. So the client, the person you're bringing in, the operations person, you need to design this onboarding document for them so that you let them know, say, job responsibilities, personal information, initial overview, the training and orientation induction on this date. So you train them over that, and then you want them also to sign that they have been trained, acknowledgement. But what are the key competencies? Who are the key contacts in the organization that they should look out for? So if you have even a laptop, if you have even laptops, they must know what they're doing. Yeah. Yeah. Eh? Sweet, sweet. Sorry? You must put all those things there. You have a supervisor. Put the name of the supervisor and the phone number and the email of the supervisor. Who answers to them? Tell them so and so answers to you. This is their email. This is where you find them. And then after you're done, walk them around. This is XYZ, that's why XYZ. The rest of the things, if you need any extra information, they are in your document that I sent you via email. You're done. So that is how that works. So yeah. So this is the SOP. Okay, this is good. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the way of, but sometimes things like colleagues want to see you fail.
Yeah.
So they don't really want you to fail.
Yes.
That's quite different.
And interns struggle to work in our organization because the person arrives, you the owner of the business is confused. What happens here? What happens here? You know, we started a system at our office where we will get interns coming through very easily, because we just developed that onboard. You know that the onboarding document. That's the key to help an intern. That document is the key to help an intern. The onboarding. Onboarding. Yeah, shopkeeper is an example, but onboarding. As soon as they arrive, you send them a document. You send them the document of what they're going to be doing, and you call them on. You have a meeting with them. You are here. This is your role. This is your role. You answer to that person there, and then your job is XYZ. All right. Are we good? Are we good? Yeah. If you need anything, it's in the document I sent you via email. The person knows already. I'm here to do X. If I have questions, Y answer has my answers. I have a laptop. It's there. Password is so and so and so and so. That's it. Now people, interns are suffering. I'm telling you, they come to your office 1 month. I found one time I went to an office, and I was in a meeting, and the person in the meeting, the boss and the guy who had arrived, I was wondering how the guy is looking. Oh no, it was at the bank. I went to sign a document, and the guy that came to make me sign it, I asked him, I said, because he gave me something that doesn't make sense. I asked him, how long have you been here? It's 3 months. I said, he said, I'm also just trying to figure out what's going on. And I said, I understand. I said, but I felt the pain for that guy. Do you understand? I'm like, now this guy, why isn't somebody telling him what he has come to do here? And you know, that costs the organization. It costs the organization money when that guy is not being productive. Are you following me? Now, somebody somewhere doesn't care because they doesn't know how much it costs the organization. That month on month, this employee is being paid the salary for doing nothing, for working like an office order, when the guy actually has a real job. They're just sending him around to go and make people sign documents when he's supposed to be thinking. That's what they brought him for. You understand that? So these are the issues that we need to look at. Now, I want us to take a break. In fact, we are done first of all for the training, but I want you to fill up this. It's called a bingo card. You can just draw it behind any of the papers that you have, or even on your notebook. Put it on your document. Write it in your books. That's bingo card. This is your what goals do you have for this? But they must also reflect like something you'll be doing monthly. You know, what would you like to achieve this year? For example, I want to sell 5 tons of my product, but I want to sell 1 ton per month. Are you seeing that? So I want you to do that. I want you to write that. Or I want to take my team out for a retreat this year. I want to do that once a quarter. I want to do it once this year. Because we want you to put things that you can do. Some of them you can, quite a number of them.
Also, we're writing our own
business. Yeah. But you do understand that this was the previous KPI I'm mentioning here is for the employee, right? Don't forget that. When you have given them their checklist, then you create their KPI as a row, as a JD. What's their KPI?
so that they know
What targets they have. Yes. But this one now is the bingo card for you. The bingo card for you. What would you like to see happen in the organization? Yeah. So you can even take some tea there, some food while you think through. And these things you're writing, we're going to be watching them together with you throughout the year. So, make sure you put something that you're going to be planning on achieving. Yeah.